The 8th grade field trip was one of the worst moments of my entire life. In order for you to understand why, we're gonna need to rewind a little bit. Yeah, this is only 1 week before the 8th grade trip. Just don't worry about that. It's nearing the end of the year, and the buzz about the 8th grade trip is at an all-time high. Only 1 week until the 8th grade trip happens, and everybody is on the edge of their seats. I'm so excited, and I'm just counting the days at this point. Everything was going great until one action led to a domino effect. The weekend before the 8th grade trip, I left my phone in the school locker. Now, my teachers had made it clear that on Monday when the trip started, nobody can enter the school. So since it was the weekend, I realized I was screwed. The school's not open on the weekends, and if I don't have time to go get it Monday, I can't get my phone. This is when I came up with a master plan. I was going to try to sneak into the school on a weekend and get my phone. Now, I know this is a terrible idea, but middle school me thought it was genius. So I ride my bike over to the school, and I think, you know what? Why don't I just walk in? And to my surprise, the front door opened right away. Me feeling cocky, I go to open the second door, and that's when an alarm goes off. Now I'm freaking out. I'm panicked. It's completely pitch black in the school, and I'm scared for my life. I walk out of the school with my hands up, just in case the cameras are recording me. The second I get to my bike, I pedal as hard as I can. Now that you know that this unfortunate event happened, let's go back to the present. So it's the day of the 8th grade trip, and my mom's letting me borrow my sister's phone, but my sister's not happy about it. I'm going to be in New York for a week, Philadelphia for 5 days. I'm going to need a phone to communicate. While my sister wasn't happy, there's not much she could do. So the trip starts and my parents drop me off at the school at 8 a.m. on Monday. But instantly I could tell I was severely underprepared. I had maybe one bag of clothes, my phone, a charger, and that's about all. Not to mention a little bit of walking around money, as the teachers told us to bring. But all my friends had multiple duffel bags, multiple bags filled, toys, a bunch of clothes, and all sorts of stuff. I already feel like a sore thumbstick. You know what I'm trying to say. Everyone loads their stuff onto the bus, and we sit and wait for the 10-hour car ride. It was actually only a couple hours because our first destination was Philadelphia, which is closer, but everywhere we go, I am clenching my sister's phone. I am terrified. Ever since I left my phone in my locker, I couldn't trust myself without losing things. And honestly, still to this day, I get super nervous about losing things, and you're about to find out why really soon. The first day, not much happened. We settled into our hotel in Philadelphia, looked at a few monuments, and went to bed. We had big plans for the next day, and everybody was excited. Not just for the plans, but also because everybody got their own hotel room with their friends. The teacher let groups of 4 people share a room, and everybody was hyped. People were having pillow fights, people were taking pictures, people were sneaking out. It was awesome. Now, being in a room alone, though, each kid had to have certain responsibilities. I personally was in a room with 2 other people, so there's 3 of us total. One of my friend's responsibilities was to make sure we get up on time every day. Another one of my friend's responsibilities was to make sure we got our phones back in the morning because we had to turn our phones in at night. I know this sounds like a lame rule, but remember, we're still in middle school, so the teachers didn't want us planning anything. While my role might be the easiest, was turning on our phones at night. Everyone knew their role, and everyone had to stick to it for the week that we were in New York. The first night we were having so much fun, we completely lost track of time. We watched a movie, we had a pillow fight, we were wrestling, just like boys do. But then we realized it was 1 a.m. But my friend that was in charge of keeping track of the time, though, told us not to worry, because we didn't have to be up till 9. Or so we thought. We decided it's time to go to bed soon, and we also decided who has to share a bed for the first night, and then we start to fall asleep. Morning comes, and we are awoken to knocks on our door. Not just knocks, but bangs. The time is 7:05, so we're super confused because my roommate said we had to get up at 9. We answer the door to see no one else other than our teacher. He is furious. He said, "I told y'all how important it was going to be on time for this trip. We cannot be late." Confused, we rub our eyes and we say, "Yeah, we're not late. We have to leave at 9. To which my teacher responds, "No, we need to leave at 7. 9 is for next week." Realizing this, we panicked. We're already 5 minutes late. The bus is going to leave without us, or we'll just miss our trip. We did not want to be that group, so we rushed as fast as we could to go get our stuff. We spent less than 5 minutes getting ready and then ran to the bus. Everyone's giving us a hard time. "Oh, look, it's the sleepyheads," just like an average middle school group would do. We're just glad that we're finally on our way to our next destination and that everything is going to be okay. but it turns out everything wasn't okay. So do you remember the roles I told you guys that each person had? Yeah, well, one of my friend's roles was to make sure we got our phones back in the morning. Considering my first friend messed up on his role on the time we had to get up, we were already in a rush. So my friend making sure we had our phones wasn't his top priority. Considering this, we were all super stressed out, so that thought didn't cross into my mind for a while, until I realized I didn't have my phone. This was technically day 1 of the trip, but day 2 of travels, so I realized if I lost my phone now, I would never hear the end of it. I asked my friend in some kind of desperation, please tell me we didn't get our phones back in the morning and that our teacher still has them. He goes, we got our phones back, and I told you guys. I am already sweating. I am already on the verge of tears, and I am pissed off. I asked my second friend, does he have his phone? To which he responded, yes. Then I realized it was just me. Now I'm starting to feel singled out, and now I'm starting to hyperventilate. The teacher from earlier comes over, the one that knocked at our door telling us we were late, to see what the ruckus was. I told him, I don't have my phone. Please, we have to go back. He says we're already late enough, and that we're not turning back. So moral of the story was, I forgot my phone, and I had to end up using the teacher's phone to call my mom to tell her. I had to call my mom in front of the entire class, in tears, bro. This was humiliating. Luckily enough, my mom wasn't too mad because she found out that we could get the phone mailed back to us from the hotel. This calmed my nerves down a little bit, and I tried to enjoy the rest of the trip. But it wasn't long until another tragedy struck. You see, every kid had to have a bag each day. The bag that had our money, our phone, our valuables, anything we bought on the trip, and just basic needs. We carried this bag with us everywhere, to places we went throughout the day, to restaurants, and to the hotel. Well, after a good, long, amazing, easy, fun day, we went to a restaurant to end it off for dinner. Everyone puts their stuff down and starts looking at the menu, including me. Everyone decides what they want, we order, and we eat. Pretty simple, right? Then we leave. Everyone pays for what they got, and then we leave. Simple. And when we're headed back to the hotel, I realized something. I don't have my bag. I don't tell anybody, and it doesn't seem like no one has noticed yet. This bag had my wallet, $50 cash, my charger, and a lot of other valuables. Now, I didn't carry everything with me in that bag, but it still had a lot of stuff in it. This is when I officially claimed this day as one of the worst days in my life. What was supposed to be a fun trip was completely ruined by my complete lack of just knowing where my stuff is. Like, I'm such an idiot. We get back to the hotel and nobody noticed that my bag was missing. I ended up telling people that I just didn't feel like walking around with a bag all day. And surprisingly, it worked. Even though I have lost my phone and my bag and everything inside my bag at this point, I still try to have a fun time on this trip. Nothing else could happen, right? Well, you'd be wrong. On one of the last days of the trip, we went to go see the Statue of Liberty. Now, to get there, we all had a ferry pass, which means we would go on a boat that would bring us directly to it. Well, it turns out I lost my ferry pass, which means I'd have to buy a new one for almost $30. But that's not even the worst part. I was just more embarrassed of saying that I lost it in front of the whole class yet again. To make matters even worse, I seem to be the only kid on this entire trip who has lost anything. I'm humiliated, but obviously I have to tell the teacher. I tell him, and it ends up not being a big deal. I buy another pass, and then we were good for the day. On one of the last days on the trip, we went to a fancy restaurant, and we were the only ones there. The waiters and waitresses came out and started playing music, and a lot of us kids got up and started dancing. I usually got very socially scared, so I would never do anything like this. But honestly, I just got right up and danced along. A lot of my friends were up dancing, people were standing on their chairs, people were cheering. It was honestly a great moment. When we were heading back to our hometown, the bus ride back was long. Although many things had happened on this trip, I still didn't feel awful about it. When I look back, I only remember the good memories, not the bad ones. If we as humans did this more often, I feel like a lot of the negativity and the hate in the world wouldn't be viewed upon as much. You see, negative things usually get more attention. On social media, people post negative things, so people will comment, and then those videos blow up. Instead of focusing on the negative, if we were to focus on the positive a little bit more, we would be much more happy as individuals. Still to this day, more than 6 years later, I remember those memories that I made on that trip. I have some of the valuables and some of the souvenirs I got on that trip. I have never gone on a school trip like this again, and since I am in college, it is highly unlikely I will. So cherish the moments that you have while you're still in them, because you never know that you're in the good old days until they're over. Don't let anything stop you or drag you down. Just get right back up and enjoy your life. Hey, look, I found a few diamonds.